Hey everybody, what's up? This is Nick from ThreatX3 Productions. Joining me today is...
It's Nate. Hello, hi.
And today we're going to be doing a video we like to call One Man's Trash. This is where we take a game that wasn't awesomely received, and we play it and we tell you why we like it, basically. So today's game that we're going to be talking about is Watchdog Legions, which is the third iteration in the Watchdogs franchise. It released on October 29th, 2020. We're going to start with the scores for PlayStation. PlayStation 4 got 70 or 66 on the PlayStation 5. The Xbox One, it got a 76. And then Xbox Series X, it got a 74. And then on the PC, it got a 72. And then pretty much all the user scores, except for the Xbox for some reason, all the user scores are right at 5, 5.2, 5.4. Xbox for some reason has it a whole point higher at 6 and 6.1 and 6.2. But yeah, I mean, you can see, even though it was somewhat well received, or mediocrely received by the critics, the users not so much. OpenCritic has it sitting at a 74 for critics. It says fair, and then for critics recommended, it's only 60% of them. So this is not well loved. I wish this would have been on Steam, because at least on Steam it does give you the option to look at reviews that are more current. Because as far as we know, since it was a brand new console or brand new consoles, we know that, sometimes that can come with bugs. And so the reason it might have a lower score is because this is one of the first games that came out for next-gen consoles. So that might be it. So it would have been nice to see, what do people think of it now that a couple of patches have gone through, now that some kinks in the new next-generation consoles have been worked out and all that. But unfortunately, we don't really get any of that. Let's get to our thoughts. What are your overall thoughts of Watch Dogs?
Well, see, what's really cool, I think, about this, too, is that you played it on PS5, correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so I played it on my PS4 Pro. So, especially now, in 2021, we can go to compare and see. From the moment that I jumped into the game, I was having a blast. I was immediately having fun, and held my hand in a really good way in showing me basically what the game can do and has to offer. Way better than a game like Shadow of War, which immediately jumped in and was like, hey, here, play RTS. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. So, and I wasn't expecting it to start so story heavily. That was one thing that I was surprised by. But coming from Watch Dogs 2, which I loved and is easily one of my favorite gaming moments, is just playing through that game and playing and being that character. So this is interesting to be like, oh, hey, I don't need to show attachment to just one character. I have so many others to choose from. But yeah, immediately within the first hour, I was having fun. And now, granted, coming from someone who's played 1 and 2, like, I know how to play a Watch Dogs game. So I didn't really have a barrier to entry there. But like, just experiencing the game again and seeing this new world and being presented by it, I was like, okay, I'm in. Yeah.
I would have to say that I don't disagree with anything that you said, pretty much, because it was just an interesting experience. Like, I really liked it, and I think I fell in love immediately with the whole recruitment system. And the way that you get new peoples to, basically the first mission is, you end up dying essentially, and DedSec gets disbanded in a sense. So then it's about you getting the DedSec back together. But instead of it being like in, like, Saints Row is a really good example. Instead of it being like in Saints Row, where you're the leader and you're getting everyone together, you're kind of just one of the cogs in the machine. And so that's an interesting twist. But then the biggest twist being that I can literally look at anybody and I can decide, I want you to be on my team. And that, I really, really dove into that, and I really dove into the world of Watchdogs, and I'm like, okay, this is really cool. Like, you can get a ability that lets you do like deep research into somebody. So you can go up to somebody, and let's say it's like a Albion security guard. Well, Albion automatically doesn't like DedSec because like Albion is like the, you know, Cybertron or not Cybertron, Skynet. They're the Skynet of this universe, kind of. So they automatically don't like you because you're part of DedSec. But you can do some research, and basically by doing some background stuff, you can get them to like you, and then you can do a recruitment mission that will make them join the team. Everybody has a recruitment mission, and they're all random. So far, I've had similar ones, but I haven't had ones that were like, oh yeah, I've been to this area and I've done this exact same thing. But so far, it's like they've all been different in their own ways. But what I think is the coolest thing about that is how much story they're able to inject into it. So one of these security guards that I helped out, basically, I found out that this pharmaceutical company is overcharging his friend or his brother on the medication that he needs to live. So to get him to like DedSec, I basically went and I blew up or I destroyed a pharmaceutical truck. He found out about it. He's like, okay, I think I do like you. And so then he told me about his brother, and he's like, yeah, I don't like this pharmaceutical company and yada yada. So I actually stole a van full of the medicine and gave it to him. And so that's how I recruited him to my team. And it's like, that very well could have just been like, go from A to B and do this or whatever. But the fact that they're able to inject things like that into the story or whatever, into each person's story, is just really interesting.
One of the things that I'm most impressed by is honestly how well everything flows together. Because one of the biggest praises I gave Watch Dogs to, and still to this day, is how much I felt like I was that character and I was living in that world of San Francisco. Not only am I captivated so far with the story, because like they took it up a notch and be like, hey, let's do this like martial law kind of situation. And so I'm like, all right, I already have that disbelief there, so I can kind of play with that. But as an example, everything connects together and everything has a reason to be. So we're talking about the recruitment missions. I got to the part where it asked me to recruit a construction worker. And so I was like, I was kind of going through each one, seeing, and I was like, which one do I pick? And one of the ones that I had come across had the exact same first and last name as as someone I know. And I was like, all right, that's funny. I'll just do that. And nice. I had saved it to the team for a recruitment mission, but I never started the recruitment mission. Few hours later, I'm just going about playing a completely different mission thing. I'm going through an area, and then I see that little character blip, like when a friend, I'm talking about, the one that comes to the side, and it was someone being assaulted. And so I stopped the assault, and it ended up being that guy's brother.
Oh,
and
that's
so
cool.
Like now I have to go meet him to finish the mission. But and even whenever I was doing a story mission, it had connected it with another saved recruit that I had that I didn't know had any connection with that other part. So when I completed that, it told me to go here because I had cleared his name, and it didn't do a weird cut or anything. I was like, man, this is really okay. I see what you're doing, I see what Ubisoft wanted to do with this game, and it's working. It legitimately works for me.
Yeah, for me too. I think that's the biggest tragedy of this game, is the fact that how much work did go into making it so interconnected, and then the kind of Ubisoft paint got just kind of smeared all over it. You got your open world, you got your kind of Ubisoft staples, like a million different things on the map and things like that. And so I think when people played this, the shooting is very kind of generic. Nothing really stands out as good or bad. The cover system is very generic. Nothing good or bad. Nothing necessarily stands out as like, oh my god, this is so awesome. Aside from the characters. and the whole system or whatever. This is like the reverse of the Nemesis system from, you brought it up before, from the Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor games.
Yeah.
It's like the reverse of that. And I really, really enjoy that. That is my personal favorite part about the game. I think without that, this would be a very generic, very mediocre game. And I don't want to be one of those like smart hipsters that is like, oh, it's just misunderstood. But honestly, I do think that's the biggest tragedy, is I just think that it's misunderstood, that a lot of people maybe didn't give it the time of day because of how generic it can be from moment to moment. So, I mean, that's my personal favorite part about the whole game. What would you say is your favorite part?
My favorite part about the game, it's hard to say, is not the recruitment system, is not because I agree with you. If this was just a one character storyline like Watch Dogs 2, it would have been the same. Like, that's not really a big shtick, but they basically, I think for me, it's the polish. This feels like the culmination of what they wanted to do with Watch Dogs 1 and Watch Dogs 2.
I get that,
everything makes sense. The controls feel natural and normal. One big caveat there. Fuck the driving. The driving sucks.
Yeah, that definitely stands out.
Here's the thing. It's not only they didn't fix the Watch Dogs driving, but also it's the driving in London on the other side of the road. When I got in the car for the first time, I went, duh.
Yeah.
It is so...
Howdy, y'all. How's you doing? Why is everybody on the wrong side of the road?
Okay, so pro tip, as far as that goes, either just use motorcycles or those driverless taxis. Those are the two vehicles I found that handle the best. And they still don't handle great.
True.
But I'm not smashing around everything.
Right.
But favorite thing would be the polish, 100%.
Yeah. All right. So from good stuff to, things we think could have been different or whatever. Honestly, I love the recruitment system. I would have really liked to have seen some type of a rarity system, because I feel like sometimes I get a character that has like 4 different traits, and sometimes I only get one with 2. But you can't really tell the difference that much. Not only that, but then you can have legacy characters, like they're orange, so it's like, okay, they kind of have that. So you have these really cool characters, and they're like rare characters, but I feel like just some type of a tier system that was, it sucks, but the whole green, blue, purple, orange thing just works so well for a reason. It really lets you know that, okay, this person's better than that person, best person's. Not only that, but then it would just make finding like a make finding a rarer person that much more exciting, So I mean, that's my personal thing. What is a thing you think would be a good change?
Well, apart from the driving, which we just talked about, I guess not to match exactly what you were saying, but some sort of more incentive type of system to like customize and change around characters. Like, I guess actually being able to use their specs the way you recruit them for, giving me incentive to actually switch characters apart from just location.
Yeah. I think just more diversity and just more reasons. Not only that, but it would also be kind of cool if you could, I mean, you're an organization. It would be cool, since you have all these recruits, if you could send them on missions. Yeah. Some kind of meta game where in the background they're off doing stuff or whatever.
Like Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Something like that would have worked perfectly in this game, because, sometimes it like you, for instance, if you're just playing one character for too long, all the other characters, like, you can bring up your map every once in a while, and they just kind of move around.
Yeah.
But what are they doing? At least if you could literally send them on missions, it would just be really cool, and I think it would bring more life to it or whatever.
It'd be cool if you could send them on recruitment missions. Like, if you could send them on, like, that'd be really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Not only that, but then like some type of way to maybe call in for reinforcements or whatever.
Yeah.
That'd be another really cool thing. Because I mean, other games that have done stuff like you said, Brotherhood, but also like Saints Row, when you're building up a gang or whatever, there's always been this ability to then call people in and come help you. So the fact that even though you have all these people, but you can't really use them other than one at a time, kind of gets rid of that whole feeling like you're part of a team. So it's like, I definitely think that, yeah, more incentives to play as different people or just use them more often would be really, really nice.
Definitely.
So, all right, guys. So that's what we thought about Watchdogs Legions. We're going to finish this off by, you know, basically kind of rating it. We're going to play a game of higher or lower. So, based on what we've played, would you think that it needs to be rated higher or lower than its current rating?
Personally, I would say higher. And I think that's impressive for me because this is a game I was going to wait until next gen to play. So I got it on sale, went ahead and jumped in, and I'm very much glad that I did. And even on last gen, this game does not disappoint.
Yeah. Yeah. I would have to agree this game should be rated higher. You know, I don't know how much higher, but yeah, in the 7s and the 6s, that's way, way too low. Whether it be patches or whether it just be time in general, this game definitely seems way better than all the coverage I've seen about it. And all the coverage I've seen about it was just kind of like, you know, and for me, it's like, well, heck yeah. But, hey, that's how it's going to work here on One Man's Trash. It's our personal opinion, so we'd like to hear yours. Did you play it? Did you get it on sale? Have you been playing it from the very beginning? We would love to know your thoughts on it as well. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I was Nick.
And I was Nate.
And you guys have a good day.